Gator Dave. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Mike. How about you?
I'm good. Back for another week. You
Yes,
are slowly creeping your way back in. Slowly
inching,
creeping your way back in here.
inching there. Got one more on you, so a little closer. So we'll probably end up tied again, like we were last year, right? So who knows? Who knows? So for all you folks out there, appreciate you joining. Please subscribe, like, and follow our YouTube account. And we are Bet Utopia, number one location for all things sports betting. So live shows on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And don't forget, right after us, we got the NFL show. More time for those wagers for those Thursday night games. All right. So you got the numbers up there, Mike. What do we do? What do we do?
Yeah, so 6-6 and 7-5. Nothing great to write home about, but you did beat me. So you
Yeah.
are creeping back. You are creeping back.
Yeah. Made it over the hump there. So but respectable. I'll take 7-5 is respectable. So
Yeah.
not a blowout. We'll take it. We'll take it. All right. So let's rock in the games, Mike. So it looks like I've got like the first three, and then you got three. So we're
Flip it
starting
over.
off with
You got it.
Houston at Kansas. This is one of those games. Neither team is exactly tearing it up. Kansas got 5.5 here, so over under 47.5. So folks are thinking mighty heavily on a 1-5 Kansas, Mike, and Houston coming in at 2-4. So like I said, it's kind of the battle of the low end here. So Houston win over TCU by 11, Rice by 26, and Kansas lost to TCU by 11. So you might know where I'm going, right? So Houston's 3-3 against the spread, and Mike, Kansas is 0-6 against the spread. So the Houston Cougars have Donovan Smith as their quarterback. Not exactly tearing it up. He's only got 2 touchdowns and he's got 5 interceptions, but they got 2 running backs averaging over 5 yards a carry, over 200 yards. So they're doing decent there. Houston comes in at 121st in the nation on offense, but defense is where they're at with 18th. So they're hanging on to that defense. Jayhawks, Jalen Daniels, we thought was going to be all that. 54%, 7 TDs, and 8 interceptions, not doing much. Devin Neal, disappointed, only 584 yards and 5 TDs. So they're coming in 64th on offense, 69th on defense. So Kansas lost each of the last 3 games as the favorite against non-AP ranked teams. Kansas has failed to cover the spread in each of its last 6 games against non-AP ranked opponents. So we know where we're falling. The Jayhawks have had a chance to win their last 5 games, but found a way to lose. So Kansas defense just got awful. Give me Houston here, Mike, and give me those 5.5 points. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't trust Jalen Daniels. He's turned the ball over way too much. He's been inconsistent. This Kansas team, this is a win they have to have. Frankly, they got to have it. I think they're sitting at 1-5 right now. You mentioned Devin Neal. Jalen Daniels actually had his best game of the year last week. Didn't turn the ball over. Got a rushing touchdown. I don't think he's going to be able to carry it over into this one. I'm with you, Dave. I got Houston in the points, which is scary. We've talked. There's a couple of teams that we've talked a good bit about this year. There's a few
Yeah.
this week that were some new ones. Had to pull those graphics in, but both of these teams, excuse me, they've been on the show a couple times. So unfortunately, we're familiar with them. And yeah, I'm with you. I got Houston.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, we got to say hello to Evelyn and my beautiful wife, Nirvana, with her Go Dogs there. So thanks for joining, ladies. Next game, mine again, Arizona State at Cincinnati. And Cincinnati getting 6.5 here, over under at 49.5. Cincinnati's been one of those teams we've been counting on. I think one of those you've been talking about that has kind of carried us a little bit, and we've done well. They're 4-2, but Arizona State is 5-1. Arizona State with a big win over Utah last week, and granted, the quarterback came back injured from his injury for Utah. Didn't have a good game, but Utah's got a good defense. Okay, and they came back and beat that team. They beat Kansas. They beat Mississippi State. They only lost to Texas Tech, who's done well by touchdown. Cincinnati, really, they beat UCF by 6 last week. They beat Houston. They lost to Texas Tech by 3. So Arizona State right now comes in at 5-1 against the spread. Bearcats are only 3-2-1. So you know where I'm leaning. Quarterback for Arizona State, Levitt, 59%, 1166, 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He runs the ball well, 279 and 4 TDs. I got a good running back in Scatterboo, 773 and 8 TDs. Sorsby on the other side of the ball for Cincinnati has been respectable, quite respectable. 66%, 1722, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So they've done quite well. Connor, the running back, does well too, 496 and 2 TDs. But the defense for Cincinnati ranked 106th in the nation. Cincinnati's lost 6 of the last 7 home games against conference opponents. They've had some ugly moments in their win over UCF last week. They had 10 penalties, but everything kind of worked out for them, which I think it just kind of worked out. Sun Devils had a nice effort last week, like I said, against Utah. So they got 343 yards against a good Utah defense. So, Mike, I'm going to go with Arizona State here and give me those 6.5 points. What do you think?
You know, that's interesting because I thought you put this game on this board specifically for the reason that I'm about to say.
Stick with Cincy.
Did you know you may be teetering a little bit after I tell you this tidbit? Did you know who's starting for Arizona State in this game at quarterback?
Who is starting? No.
Your boy Jeff Sims. He is starting at quarterback.
Might have missed that one, buddy.
For Arizona State. So take that for what it's worth. Another fun little tidbit is Arizona State. This is the furthest game that they've played east since 2009. Okay? They do not make these trips very often. I'm going Cincy. It's an early kickoff. This is going to be I believe it's a 10 a.m. kickoff for Arizona local time. I don't think they're going to be ready. I don't think they're going to get up for this one. Give me Cincy to get it home. To get it done at home and cover the spread.
All right. We shall see. 6.5 is a lot of points, baby. A lot of points. All right.
That's a lot of points.
Next game. Another one of mine.
Speaking of a lot of points.
Speaking of a whole lot of points. Oklahoma State at BYU. BYU is 9.5 point favorite. Over under is 52.5. And I know we're going head to head on this one because my gut tells me anyway. So, Oklahoma State, however, is only 3-3. BYU comes in at 6-0. I know, Mike, you're feeling BYU's due for a loss. I know you. BYU and Iowa State, top of the Big 12, undefeated. What's going to change this week? Oklahoma State wins early over Tulsa, and they beat Arkansas. BYU, however, has beat SMU, Kansas State, and Arizona last week. Cowboys are 2-4 against the spread. BYU is 6-0. We talked about Oklahoma State, and there's not that good. I mean, Bowman's thrown for 1,600 yards. Ollie Gordon's only ran for 384. I mean, their offense is ranked 77th. Their defense, Mike, 129th out of 133. Hot damn garbage. BYU, a respectable quarterback in Reslov. 60%, 14, 26, 14 TDs and 5 interceptions, and he's run for 184 yards. I think the home field advantage is a big deal. It's tough to play there in Provo. I mean, they're basically blowing teams out. Blew out Arizona, blew out K-State. And Oklahoma State's lost 3 in a row, and they've allowed 80 points in their last 2 games, Mike. I mean, granted, it's 9.5 points, and it's a conference game, but damn, give me the Cougars. I think they win by 14. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, all signs point to it for sure that the Cougars should cover. I'm a little nervous on this one. It's a lot of points. Friday night screwery. It's afoot. I'm telling you. Last Friday, all 3 dogs. There were 3 games last Friday. All 3 covered. Something to consider here. But I'm on the under. I like BYU's defense. Their pass defense has been elite. You mentioned it. Bowman, the quarterback for Oklahoma State, who's been there for 35 years now. He cannot hit the right side of a barn. Ollie Gordon's been dealing with a leg injury. He has not been good. He hasn't been able to get going all year long. So I'm going to take the under here. I think BYU will probably get that cover. I like your pick there. I just don't see how Oklahoma State is able to score 20 points in this game. It's not going to happen.
I bet they don't score 14 points. I bet it's like 14 max, 10 or 14 points. So
yeah, so at that point, it's just how many. Yeah, it's just how many BYU can get. So I'm not a huge fan of this one, but I'm gonna go with the under here.
I think it's a good call, Mike.
Yep.
Next game, what you think? Your game, my friend.
All right, so we got Baylor making the trip to Texas Tech. Texas Tech's a 6.5-point favorite. Couple quick things just to note, and then I'll slide it over to you here, Dave. Texas Tech is 4-0 at home this year, so they're undefeated. Baylor is 0-3 on the road. Texas Tech is 4-0 when coming off a bye week under their current head coach, Joey McGuire. Dave Aranda, we've mentioned it before this season, last season. He's been on the hot seat for a while. I think it's just kind of a ticking time bomb. This could be the game that finally sends him on his way. I like Texas Tech to get the win in Lubbock at home to get the cover as well. Lubbock is not a fun place to go to. It's not a good time. Baylor's not going to enjoy it. Give me Texas Tech to get it done here. What do you say, Dave?
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I have actually attended one game at Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas, with a friend.
Did you enjoy it?
Years ago, I had a good time because Texas Tech won. I mean, they're pretty rowdy fans. It was a good time. Yeah. So Baylor's not good. I mean, 2-4, and we know Texas Tech's 5-1. And Baylor seems to be getting worse by the week, and Texas Tech top 20 scoring offense, The other thing about this game is I think the over might be a pick here, but Mike, I'm going to go the Red Raiders and Texas Tech to cover that 6.5 points, Mike. I'm with you.
I like it.
We got Public House in the house.
Public House in the house. What's up, buddy? What's up? Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. We're moving right along here to South Carolina taking on Oklahoma in an SEC matchup. So this one's interesting. This one's very interesting. It could go either way, I think. So at the end of the day, I just don't trust Oklahoma's offense. I don't trust Oklahoma's defense. I don't trust Oklahoma, period. South Carolina has played much more consistent throughout this year. Last week, they had Alabama right by the cojones and let them off the hook at Alabama. The only thing that worries me here is if that game is going to affect them twice in a row. If they're going to let that one potentially cause another loss if they're looking, back in the past rather than towards the future. I don't think that's going to be an issue with this team. I think Shane Beamer is going to have these guys ready to go. He proved himself in that game last week as well as in a couple of games earlier in the year. He is a good coach. He deserves a contract and extension at South Carolina. If they don't do it, he will get a job somewhere else, no doubt about it. I'm not sold on Brent Venables as a head coach yet. Obviously this is his first tenure as a head coach at Oklahoma. It's just a tough job. And then they threw him into the SEC, threw him right into the ring of fire, so to say. I like South Carolina to get it done here. Lenora Sellers, the QB, again, much more consistent. That offense is much more consistent. I can't trust this Oklahoma team. So I'm going South Carolina to get the win in Oklahoma. I'm going to take the +1.5, but I think they win this one outright. Dave, what you got?
Yep, I'm feeling you there too, Mike. I mean, South Carolina only lost 2 points to Alabama. I mean, and they only lost to 3 points to LSU. They beat Kentucky by 25, and Oklahoma got their ass hammered last week by Texas. Granted, it's the best team in the nation. They lost to 10 by a Vol team that is going to fall down in the teens, especially after we'll talk about that later. Now, they did beat Auburn, but I don't think Auburn's all that at all. Gamecocks are 4-2 against the spread, which I think is a plus. And freshman QB Sellers has had a little bit more time than freshman QB Hawkins for the Sooners. Sellers at 62%, 793. He's also run for 219 and 3 TDs. They got running back Rocket Sanders, 393 yards, 5 TDs. And their defense is ranked 20th, Mike, in the nation, which is pretty damn good. Sooners come in with their freshman QB. He's at 62% too, not near the yards and only 1 TD. Running backs, best they can do is Brands at 237 and 2 TDs. Their offense, Mike, is ranked 125th in the nation. So hot garbage on offense. And that's throughout the entire year. That's with the beginning of the year being a quarterback that actually was a little bit better than this Hawkins kid. I mean, the Gamecocks they're a better team right now. I mean, their defense is tough. And Oklahoma's offense is crap. They can't even get to 300 yards of offense in a game. So I just don't see it happening. They're 130th in the nation in third down conversions. Man, give me the Gamecocks and those 2.5 points. I'm with you here, Mike.
I like it. All right, we're about halfway through here. Moving on. We got Colorado making the trip to Arizona. I'm taking this one, aren't I, Dave?
Yep. That's your baby.
So the big story here is Travis Hunter. He's been dealing with injuries. Supposedly, according to Dion, he is going to be good to go. Something that I saw, which I thought was a little interesting, was they maybe noted at him getting some snaps at running back, potentially. Their running back game has struggled all year long. Supposedly, it's part of his Heisman push to kind of get him over that hill. That
what the hell?
Hey, I'm just letting you know what I've heard through the grapevine. Supposedly, they are fully aware of Ashton Jeanty's #1 spot as the Heisman frontrunner right now, and they want to try to take some of that shine away from the running back. So supposedly they're putting some plays in for Travis Hunter at running back. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Anyway, turnover problems are the big issue for me in this one. Arizona, their quarterback, while he has shown signs of success this year, 9 interceptions, 2 fumbles on offense through 6 games. They have a lot of problems keeping the ball in their offense's hands. I think if Travis Hunter on defense is able to shut down their only offensive option for Arizona, Tet McMillan, who's an absolute stud at wide receiver, future first-round draft pick, no doubt about it. If he's able to slow him down on that outside, I think this is Colorado's game to lose. I think they should win this one. I have Colorado winning this one outright. I'm going to take them plus the 3, but I think they go into Arizona and get it done and get out of there with a dub. What do you think here, Dave?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you too. Colorado's lost to some upper level teams. They're not quite there yet. I mean, the bet, but they haven't beat K-State. They lost to Nebraska, but they beat the mid-level, lower-level team. So they made that jump from where they were last year, which I didn't think they were. Shame on me. Arizona did beat Utah, but they've lost to BYU, Texas Tech, and K-State. Colorado's 4-2 against the spread. Arizona's only 1-5. So, that pushes me. And Fafita for Arizona, he just hasn't played as well as he did last year. He's not as accurate. And like you said, he's had 9 interceptions, and that's jacked up, man. It's just not good. And right now, according to everything I looked at within the last few hours, Travis Hunter's playing, Horn's playing. Now, the Miller kid who's done well, Omarius Miller, he's out for the year. But they're still going to have Hunter and Miller. I think they're going to be in good shape. The Buffs gave K-State a run for their money. I think had they not had those injuries, because they lost Hunter by halftime and they lost Horn as well.
I think it was second quarter. Hunter was out.
Yeah. And then they lost Horn. So it's like, hell, that game was close as hell. So, they gave K-State a run for their money. And what I did notice since Hunter and Horn got announced that they're playing, that spread changed. It moved in the favor of, because I think it was probably like minus
4,
5.
4.5. Yeah.
4.5 or 5, and it moved down to 3. So definitely a move. So I'm with you here, Mike. Give me the Buffs and the 3 points, man. So that's where I am.
All right. Right on. Back
Next
to you here,
game.
sir. You're moving to the SEC.
SEC. So we got LSU going to Arkansas. So LSU's favored by 2.5 here, 55.5 on the over/under. LSU 5-1, Arkansas 4-2. LSU big win at home against Ole Miss last week in overtime. They beat a feisty South Carolina team by 3 points. Arkansas's big win over Tennessee, who I don't think is all that. We've already talked about that. I mean, if the Gators should have beat them, then they're not that good. They did lose to Texas A&M by 4 in a close game. So the concern here, LSU has not lived up to expectation. They're only 2-4 against the spread, while the Hogs are 5-1 against the spread. Nussmeier's done well, a lot better than I thought he was going to do. 64%, almost 2,000 yards, 18 TDs, 6 interceptions, which is a bit. They got a couple of running backs over 200 yards, not the greatest at running the ball. Their offense is ranked 25th, defense 76th. Then we look at the Razorbacks. So, and last I heard, and I didn't go back and check, but the Green being totally well and ready to go, the quarterback is not 100% sure. He's kind of a maybe, iffy, one of those deals. So that kind of makes me lean a little bit the other direction. The kid's done pretty well. He runs the ball. I mean, they've controlled things. The Hogs' offense is 8th in the nation, which is pretty damn good. LSU has a weak run defense, but LSU's won 21 of its last 22 games against non-AP ranked teams. Arkansas, again, I'm a little worried about the quarterback there. LSU's offense, pretty damn potent. And what I have seen from LSU is a maturation and improvement, and that's kind of what pushes me toward the Tigers and the money line here, that I think they're improving, and I think that they can win the game here at Arkansas. What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna throw some numbers at you, Dave. You know I got numbers for you. So just things to consider. All right. Arkansas's head coach, Pittman, he is 1-9 straight up in games versus top 25 teams. However, he's 5-5 against the spread, so a little bit better. He is also 17-8-1, so one push against the spread as an underdog, with 7 of those 17 being outright wins. All right. He is also 5-2 straight up off a bye as Arkansas's head coach.
I heard that.
Arkansas. All right. Arkansas is 4-2 since 2021 against the spread as a dog. Arkansas, in the last 2 meetings against LSU, have covered. In the last 4, the game has been decided by 3 or less points.
That's right. That's right. Damn, I forgot to put that stat out there. Good one, Mike. Good one. I like that one, baby.
I got
3
you, Dave.
points.
I got you.
2.5, Mike.
I pick you up. I pick you up where you fall down. All right. Arkansas, 3-0 at home this year, undefeated. Dave. Razorbacks. LSU under head coach Brian Kelly. All right, this is where it gets good because Brian Kelly, he's a true Cajun man. Under Brian Kelly, LSU is just 8-8-1 against the spread versus SEC opponents. As an away favorite, 2-3. Not great. 9-8-1 against the spread off of a straight up win. Last one I got for you, the under in this matchup is 7-3 in the last 10. I'm on Pig Suey, baby. Woo Pig Suey.
Yeah.
Night game in Fayetteville. Taylor Green is going to go for this one. It's a top 10 team. He might not be 100%, but he is going to go. I think LSU comes into this one feeling nice, fat, and sassy after that overtime win last week against Ole Miss. They're going to come in feeling untouchable, unstoppable. Arkansas coming off a bye week. Punch them right in the gut. Early and often. Give me Arkansas to get it done at home. I think they win this one outright, but I will take the 2.5 with a smile on my face, Dave.
You go,
Pig
Mike.
Suey.
Woo Pig Suey. Well, it ain't happening, my friend. But we'll see. We shall see.
We'll see.
Woo Pig.
We shall see.
Woo Pig. Lots of stats there, Mikey. Good job. I like it. Next game, another one of mine. This is a Big 12 game. We have K-State -3 at West Virginia. And this one, I don't know. This was one of those weird ones to me. I'll be honest with you. Granted, West Virginia's they've done all right, but this is one of those weird games. But I'm going my gut here.
Gross.
So
it's gross.
KSU, huh? It's gross.
Gross.
Yeah, that's why I like the gross ones because I'm like 2 for 2 on the gross ones.
Just
so
it smells fishy. It smells fishy.
I know,
That's
but
all
I'm
I'm saying.
2 for 2 on gross ones, baby. So K-State 5-1, West Virginia 3-3. Wildcats only lost to BYU, who is division leader right now. Wins over Colorado, OSU, and Arizona. West Virginia lost last week to the league-leading Iowa State University by almost 2 touchdowns. They lost to the stud ACC leader in Pitt. And they have beat a powerful Oklahoma State team as well as a powerful Kansas team. And we know where they are. Both teams actually, which is weird as hell, are 2-4 against the spread because I think we've had them in most of our games. So, and I don't feel bad about either one of these. So Johnson comes in, the quarterback for K-State, the running gunning kid, sophomore, 61%, 879, 9-4. He's ran for 321 and 2 TDs. Their running back Giddens, 604, 2 TDs. West Virginia's quarterback Green only throwing at 57%. He's had 6 interceptions. but he's run the ball as well, 381 yards on the ground. So this is going to be one of those run and gunning games for sure. They got two running backs at almost 400 yards each. It's going to be a ground and pounder, Mike. Probably one that I wouldn't be real excited about watching because I don't know. I don't like the ground and pounders, but it's going to be a lot of running. I think K-State should be able to run over the Mountaineers. And West Virginia's offense, it's been okay. They got that run-first approach, but, K-State's got one of the best rushing defenses in the country. So I say give me Kansas State and the money line, sir. What do you think? And I think it's a really good bet. And I think I might call this one a Gator Day lock.
All right, locking it in. So one of the things that was a telling sign for me, obviously you said it, we've talked about West Virginia a bunch, we've talked about Kansas State a few times this year. The thing for West Virginia is their issues on offense. It's turnovers. Turnovers from Garrett Green, the quarterback, fumbles. But the thing that stuck out to me was last week's game against Iowa State. We talked about it on the show. One of the things that Iowa State's defense is susceptible to is run. Run, and they shut West Virginia down on the ground. West Virginia's best running back had 9 carries. C.J. Donaldson, who's been there, it seems, forever, out of Miami, 9 carries for 17 yards. He only had 2 targets in the passing game. He wasn't even their lead back. Their backup, White, actually had more carries than him. He had 12 carries for 46 yards. He had a little bit more success than Donaldson. I think that's why they gave him those extra carries. But that's not a good sign for a team that basically runs and dies by the run game on offense. On the flip side, Kansas State, you mentioned it, Avery Johnson, dual threat. They've been a little inconsistent this year, but they kind of have all of their goals still ahead of them. They went out, they handle business. They will be in the Big 12 championship game. They will probably be in the playoff, but they have to win out. They have to go into West Virginia. They can't have any slip-ups. This one being the line where it is at 3, a little sketchy. And West Virginia is 100% one of those teams where as soon as you write them off, they come back and they win 38-13. So it's sketchy. I'm going to stick with Kansas State on the money line on this one. I think Kansas State goes in and handles business. But man, it's going to be you're going to have to be clinched a little bit for this one, I think, in the second half. It's going to be a little tight. But yeah, give me the Wildcats.
Awesome. Hey, shout out to Hindu and Scott Crawford. What's up, gents? Thanks for stopping by. Scott, you just missed the Gator Day lock, my friend, but we'll move on. Mike, this next one's yours, man.
Yeah, so we got a top 25 matchup. Illinois is a higher rank in this game than Michigan. I bet a lot of people wouldn't have expected that for this matchup at this time of the year. But Michigan is the favored. They are the favorite coming into this one. They are up by 3.5, favored to win. Over-under sitting at 43.5. It's a 3:30 kickoff. So I got some more numbers for you here, Dave, on this one. All right? Michigan, 23-2-1 versus the Fighting Illini since 1959. 23-2 versus the Illinois Fighting Illini since 1959. Illinois is 3-4 against the spread as a home dog under head coach Brett Bielema. Under head coach Brett Bielema, Illinois is just 1-4 versus top 25 teams. Brett Bielema in his career is just 18-41 against top 25 teams. Illinois, I mentioned that record, 23-2. They've lost 6 straight to Michigan. This is the big problem for me right here. Illinois has given up on the ground 186 to Kansas. We've talked about them. Not that great of an offense. Not consistent. Gave up 142 to Central Michigan. Gave up 239 to Penn State. and last week gave up 239 to Purdue in a game that they were favored by more than 3 touchdowns, and I believe won by 1 point in double overtime or single overtime, one of the two. Purdue went for 2, they didn't get it. Illinois won. On to the next week. Illinois has problems this year with dual threat quarterbacks. That's what Michigan has in Alex Orji. Michigan is coming off a bye. Michigan is averaging 191 yards on the ground as a team. Mullings, their best running back, he's averaging 6.5 yards per carry with 6 touchdowns through 6 games. That's the difference here. I am taking Michigan minus the 3.5 to go into Illinois to get it done and somehow to stay in the top 25 and keep their hopes alive here. But I got Michigan here, Dave. What do you got?
Not so fast, my friend, as Mr. Corso says. So here's the way I look at it, Mike. I'm going to look at status quo. I'm not going back 10 years. I'm looking at what's going on with this Michigan team that only brought back 3 of 22 starters. So Michigan's 4-2, Illinois 5-1. I'm going to spend a little time on this one, Mike. So Michigan's 2 losses to Washington, Texas early. Wins over USC and Minnesota. Illinois lost to Penn State by 14, but beat Nebraska Purdue only by 1 in overtime last week. But I'm going to call that one of those oops games that shit happens and they got lucky. Michigan, Mike, against the spread this year, Mike, 1-5, Illinois 4-2. Michigan is now on their 3rd damn quarterback. They used Tuttle last week, who was an astounding 10 of 18, 55%, 98 yards. Mullings has done well, 589 yards. Edwards at 353. The Wolverines' offense, Mike, 119 out of 133. And their defense is only 44th when last year it was like number 1. So Illinois, let's look at him. Altmaier, dude from Ole Miss, 68%, 1426, 14 TDs, 1 interception. Running back Fagan at 306 and 3 TDs. Illinois offense ranked 76th, defense 59th, respectable in comparison. Illinois has won each of its last 4 games at Champaign. Michigan has failed to cover the spread in each of its last 3 games as a favorite. Michigan, they don't have an offense to be comfortable laying the points. Illinois covered 5 straight games as an underdog. Give me the Fighting Illini and 3.5 points there, Mike. That's a big one. I'll take Illini.
All right, cool. I like that one. That's a good head-to-head. Moving on. We got Alabama making the trip to Tennessee. I know where you're going with this one. This is another good one. Vols have lost 16 of the last 17 games versus Alabama. The last time they were here at Tennessee was that loss. They took that goalpost down and they threw it into the river.
They did.
Last year at Alabama, Tennessee was up 20-7 at halftime before Joe Milton had some errors and Alabama ended up coming back winning that game. 34-20 in the second half. They shut him out. But guess what? Nick Saban ain't there anymore. He's not there to give that halftime speech to get them back on the tracks and back rolling. Vols 17-1 straight up at home in their last 18 in games. Their one loss was last year to number 1 Georgia at the time. Heupel, however, their head coach, he is just 2-8 against the spread as an underdog. So not great for this situation. He's 1-4 against the spread as a home underdog, with that game against Alabama being that cover. The good news for him, though, is his offense is one of those rare teams that is averaging over 230 rushing yards and over 230 passing yards. It's a very balanced offense. You can get it any way you want it. Alabama is struggling, to say the least. This is not a Nick Saban-led Alabama team. They almost lost to South Carolina. They were beating the brakes off of Georgia and almost let that one slip away from them. I think they have a problem with finishing games and closing out wins. I think that's going to be a big issue on the road in this one when you have 110,000 people screaming and yelling for 3 hours. It's going to be an issue for teams that can't close and are maybe having a little bit of issues inside locker room, a little pointing fingers action, because it's not really what we're used to here at Alabama, right? So give me Tennessee plus the 3 to get it done. I think Tennessee actually gets the win outright here and all but ends Alabama's season per se until the playoff committee does the inevitable, which is get Alabama in to the playoff as probably the 11th seed, because it's unavoidable. Dave, who you got here in this top 11 SEC matchup?
Mike. So you did see Tennessee play my mediocrity filled Gators last week, so just want to make sure we know.
I did. I bet on the Gators, so yeah, I'm very aware. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But our buddy, Napier let you down. So both teams come in 5-1.
Billy got the cover. We're good. I'm good with Billy.
Oh, that's right. He did get the cover. That's right.
Yep.
But I would have liked a win like he should have gotten this. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Bama lost to Vandy.
Y'all have owned Tennessee for years, though. It's just one of those games. It's one of those games that you have their number. That's why.
And the same.
That's why it's that situation.
We played the same defense, and I could just. The guys got to go. I mean, just poor decisions. Let's don't get me started, Mike. Let's talk about Bama, Tennessee. So, Bama lost to Vandy. Rough go at home with South Carolina, like Mike said. The Vols lost to Arkansas, and they should have lost to the Gators, besides a poor decision-making by Clown Napier. Bama is 3-3 against the spread. Vols are 4-2. Milroe, 73%. Under 5.5. Yeah, it's going to be tough there.
A friendly reminder. It would have been a big win last week. Would have been a big win last week, Dave.
Yeah, it was a much needed win. I mean, but again, we know clown show. All right. So Bama 3-3, Vols 4-2 against the spread. Milroe comes in 73%, 1483, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, quite respectable, 319 yards, 11 TDs on the ground. Middle of the running back, 365 TDs. Tight offense is ranked 35th in the nation. Defense, 55th. Nico, dump off Nico, is 66%, 1208, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Sampson, a really good running back, 699, 15 TDs. The Vols have failed to cover 8 of their last 12 games as home underdogs, Mike. The Vols' pass defense, not good. Not good at all. You saw us throw on them. That means it's not good. Milroe has been pretty damn good, averaging over 11 yards a throw, 12 TDs, only 2 picks. Nico's having issues in the passing game, and that's what seriously concerns me a little bit. Now, as I think about as I see Alabama's Achilles heel, we saw in the second half of the Georgia game was those DBs, right? What's his name for Georgia threw like hell on them, just burnt their ass in that second half. But I just don't think Nico can do it. I really, really don't. And after seeing what they did against my Gators, I just don't see how there's any damn way that they can beat an Alabama team when I'm looking at 3 points, that I cannot go with Alabama. So give me the Tide and the money line there, Mike.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, we got 2 games left. Biggest one of the week up next, Dave. What you got?
It is. So, by the way, my lovely wife has told me to relay some information to our public in this particular pick. So here we go. We got Georgia at Texas. Texas favored by only 5 points, over under 56. Dogs come in at 5-1. Longhorns 6-0. So the Dogs lost to Bama by a TD. They only won by 10 against Mississippi State last week. They only won by 1 against Kentucky. I don't think it's the same dog team as we saw last year, Mike. And my beautiful wife says, who's, by the way, a huge Bulldog fan, says not only are they going to lose against Texas, they're going to lose one more game, Mike. She projects 3 losses. My beautiful wife, Nevada's 3 losses to the Dogs this year. And they're not going to go to the playoffs with 3 losses. That's her pick. But stick with mine here. So,
I never say never.
Oh, I might be right there on the bandwagon with her at this point, because let's hear my pick, because I ain't going with the Dogs. Longhorns come in, convincing beatdown of Oklahoma. A win over Michigan early. UGA is only 1-5 against the spread, Mike. That's dog shit, to put it mildly. It's UGA shit.
No pun intended.
Texas is 5-1. Beck has been up and down. However, when you look at the numbers, 68%, 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, 5 TDs. 5 interceptions. ETN the trader only has 335 yards and 4 TDs. I will bet you, I didn't look, I really need to look what Montrell Johnson of Florida has, but I guarantee it's more than 335 and 4 TDs. So Dogs offense ranked 28. Yeah. Ranked 28, defense ranked 28. Yours for the Longhorns, 72%, 890. We know he missed 3 games. 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They got 3 running backs averaging over 200 yards and who have over 200 yards and averaging 5 to 6 yards a carry. Texas offense ranked 6th, defense ranked 1st. Texas has definitely established itself as the best team in the nation right now, winning all 6 of its games by at least 19 points. And they've dealt with some early tests. We talked about those with Michigan, Oklahoma, and yours looks like the real deal. The Dogs have been shaky on defense, to say the least. So, Mike, guess what? Gator Dave's going with Texas to quite easily cover. He is going to listen to Mama on this one and take Texas to cover. What do you think, buddy?
All right. So, Kirby Smart took over at Georgia in 2016. All right. They have been an underdog since he took over in 2016 5 times. 5 times has Georgia been an underdog in 8 seasons. In those 5 games, Georgia, Kirby Smart, Bulldogs, just 3-2 against the spread. In those games where they were an away dog, just 1-2 against the spread. You mentioned it, 1-point win versus Kentucky, 7-point loss to Alabama, 10-point win over Mississippi State last week, that a game they led 27-10 at halftime, had it wrapped up and led them right back into it to where they had to play a full game against them in that one. We're used to a stout Georgia defense led by Kirby Smart, and some could argue that they still are that this year. They're only giving up 17 points per game. However, in terms of yardage, they are not the same team. They're ranked about 60th in total defense, whereas on the flip side with Texas, that is a top 10 offense. That is a top 10 defense. They've played good teams this year. They've handled good teams. They've done what they need to do. They just look like the more consistent team right now. 5 points is a lot when you're going against this Georgia team. You know, you mentioned it. 3 losses is probably going to keep Georgia out. I'm not so sure. I mean, if they play this Texas team strong, I wouldn't see the playoff committee dropping them any lower than, 8th. They would still be top 10. So granted, they may lose another one along the way, but them in Alabama, until they have 4 losses on the season, I don't think that they'll ever be counted out of the playoff.
You're thinking politically bullshit politically, right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't
unfortunately,
yeah.
Unfortunately, we had a Florida State team last year at 13-0, so it record and Georgia, 1 loss last year, who had a chance at a three-peat, got completely left out of the playoffs. So yeah, unfortunately, it is pretty political these days when it comes to these playoff rankings in general.
I'm with you.
But I think Texas does handle it at home. I think they're just too much. I think this one could be like a 27-17 type of game. But I do like Texas to get it done at home and keep it rolling. They're the better team. They're the more consistent team right now. It's hard to go against Georgia getting points in this situation, especially 5. Anything over a field goal, I mean, that's a lot of points. You mentioned it in the last game that we talked about with Bama and Tennessee. You're getting points with Bama. You're all over it. It's one of those situations it's hard to say no to. But it got over that 3 number for a reason. So I'm with you. I like the Longhorns to get it done here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's 10. I think it's 10-14, and in this game, I think Texas is that good. And plus, they're playing at home too. And granted, Georgia's Georgia, and they know how to play. They know how to play anywhere. But god dang, that's worth 2 or 3 points right there. So, all right. Let's hit the last game there, buddy. It's your game, baby. We hadn't talked Miami in a while. Let's do it.
Since week 1, since our matchup in week 1, we have not had Miami on the show, Dave. We've somehow had the Florida Gators on here numerous times. I don't know how or why, but not on this show. Not on this show. We got Miami coming in, taking on Louisville, sitting at number 6, Dave. Number 6 in the country, undefeated, bowl eligible. It's a beautiful thing in South Beach right now. However, this has trap game written all over it. All over it. We got FSU on deck next week at home. It's a primetime game. It just got announced. It's a 7 o'clock game. We're going to want get back. FSU got the best of us the last couple years. That is a big, big game. This is a look-ahead spot for Miami. Louisville has struggled lately. They were a top team. They were ranked. It looked like it was going to be a top 15 matchup for a long time. And then Louisville just sort of stumbled, got in their own way a little bit. Bad coaching decisions down the stretch of games kind of led them to where they are record-wise now. This is still a dangerous team. I am still worried about this team a little bit. I love the fact that it's a 12 o'clock game, and we can go ahead and kick it off bright and early, so it's not like that Miami Cal situation where they're up at 6 a.m. for college game day and have to wait the entire day to then play and start off slow. I think that helps Miami in this situation. I do think we go into Louisville. I think we handle business. We get it done. We stay undefeated to take on Florida State next week. But, man, just like earlier with that other one that I talked about, this is one that you are going to be clenching the entire game. I will be clenching the entire game. It's going to be stressful. I think we get it done. Cam Ward, he's going to stay in that Heisman race. He's going to do Heisman things. He should have 3 touchdowns at least, another 300-yard game, which he seems to just spit out like they're normal and it's easy. Give me the Canes. Give me the Canes. It makes me nervous. But give me the Canes to get it done in Louisville in this one. Dave, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, this one could teeter between. I mean, I think 3's the number, but I just had it's only 1.5 points, so I'm like, okay, because I really think they might only win by 3, and it's like, oh shit, 4.5. But I'm like, what the hell? I'm going for it. So, I mean, Miami's record speaks for itself. They're 6-0, and the Cards are for only 4-2. Granted, we don't have the massive schedules like we do in the SEC, but we have comparable schedules. Okay, Miami's got wins against number 31 Virginia Tech by 4, number 41 Cal by 1. The Cards' big win is against number 42 Georgia Tech and number 65 Virginia. They did lose to number 12 Notre Dame by 7 and number 21 SMU. That's the Cards. Both teams 3-3 against the spread, so you're like, that's not helping me, right? Cam Ward killing it. You know, he's definitely, to me, he's the best quarterback right now, 70%, 2,219 yards and 20 TDs. And Martinez is a little disappointing, Mike. I mean, he's only got 330 yards. I mean, granted, the two other backs have over 200, but you know, I thought Martinez was going to tear it up a little bit more than he did. So to me, that's, you know, he hadn't panned out like I thought he was going to be, the stud he was. Now, granted, he might go on to be great in the NFL. Looking over on the other side of the ball, we look at Louisville. Tyler Slaw is 64%, 1674, 14 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. Very respectable. Running back Brown is averaging 8.6 yards a carry. The Cards offense is ranked 22nd, defense ranked 43rd, not too bad. However, Louisville's lost 23 of its last 28 games against AP ranked teams. Miami's covered the spread in 4 of its last 5 road games. And I just think Miami's a better team right now. And I don't think Louisville has the horses to keep up. So, with that said, flash it up there. Gator Dave is going with the Canes and the 4.5 points here, sir.
We love it. We love the non-biased brain pick, Dave. That's good. That's good stuff.
Absolutely. Not picking here, you know, picking here, not here. So, had I picked here, it'd have been freaking Louisville beating the hell out of them, but that ain't happening. So, boom. That's what I got, Mike.
Get that hate out of your heart, Dave. It's all right.
Yep. And this weekend, you know, my Gators, if defense plays like they did against you, Tennessee, and we can get some blocking, we stand a chance of maybe getting our 4th win, Mike.
Who do y'all play?
Not they're going to win 6. We play Kentucky at our place. We'll be there with bells on.
See, you know, the fact that you left that one off the show, it doesn't make me confident, Dave. It doesn't make me confident.
I haven't had him. I mean, you know, I have no confidence. We have a clown for a coach. That's why it's off the show. I don't trust him. He lost the last game for us. Our boys won the game. Clown show lost the game. That's what it is. So
you hate it. All right, running through the recap.
Let's see. Let's see. What do we got?
I got Cincy. You got Arizona State. I'm on the under in OK State BYU. You got BYU. We're both on Texas Tech. We're both on South Carolina. We're both on Colorado. I got Arkansas. You got LSU. We're both on Kansas State. We got another head-to-head. I got Michigan. You got Illinois. Another one. I got Tennessee. You got Bama. And then we're both on Texas and Miami to get it done as the favorites. Dave, anything you want to say before we sign off, sir? Besides, you know, your usual.
We'll say it, but we'll see how it goes. I appreciate everyone listening, being on the show tonight. We had a nice crowd here tonight. Appreciate it. Please please follow. All that cool stuff. We're here. We got the big game. We got Miami playing Louisville. And, I think they're going to win again. Mike. But give me go Gators. See you, Mike.
Thank you to everybody.